All right. Hello and have a great Sunday, everyone. I hope your week was good. Whoops. And I keep bumping the microphone. And something with the green screen lighting is a little bit fuzzy. Well. So, yeah. As you might remember from last stream, what I actually said was that we would be playing Sam & Max Season 3 today. Because, you think that, I've played Sam & Max Season 1 and 2, and they worked, even though they were old, and, you expect the newer game to be written, to match newer APIs and things, and so it should actually run better, right? So, yeah, I started up Sam & Max Season 3 and couldn't click anything. Yeah, so occasionally I could get one click in at the start, and then it just went dead. And I looked around and it said, oh, if you have two displays attached, then unplug the others and then it will work and things like that. But I couldn't make it work. Although now that I'm saying this, I'm thinking that I forgot that I actually had 3 displays attached. Because the capture card counts as its own display in the setup I have. So maybe there is a way I can make it work in the future. I'll have to try. But yeah, so for this stream, there is no Sam & Max Season 3. And so, well, I thought, what other games do I have that I can play? And yeah, there is this little game, Trüberbrook. Come and visit Trüberbrook for a perfect summer vacation. So it's a German game, and it's set in Germany. So that sounded interesting to me, and it's a point-and-click adventure. I've seen it played a little, and loved what I saw, but it's been quite a while ago, so I hope I don't remember that much. But I guess we shall see. Alright, so let's see what we have on this screen here. It's nice. So it's a postcard that says Trüberbrook, Germany 1967. Oh, you've completed it. Woo! Yeah, so that's apparently an old postcard. I don't remember if the entire game is set in 1967, but we shall see. There's of course a pencil, and there is a coin that also says 1967. I'm trying to remember. That's definitely a Deutschmark coin. So it's from before the euro was introduced in many European countries, including Germany. So this is either a 2 Deutschmark or 5 Deutschmark coin. Given the pencil, I think it's a 2. You think it's a 5? Yeah, I'm not 100% sure. It's kind of hard to get a sense of scale with this postcard. And the pencil... Yeah, it's... Yeah, I'm not quite sure. It's the slightly later edition. I think... had a more square motif on the back. And I think the 2 coin had a different eagle, is it? Yeah. A different eagle on the back, so not 100% sure which one this would be, because it kind of matches neither of the coins I remember from way, way back in primordial times. But it's a nice detail, so it's set in the 60s, so of course the currency is from the 60s. Love that. So, let's get started. Pre-title and prologue. I guess we start at pre-title and then get to pick the prologue next, I hope. So let's try that. Okay.
Sorry, pal. We're out of gas and your engine is boiling. Let's see if we can fix you up here. We'll be back on the road in no time. Stranded in the middle of nowhere.
I love that they actually have... I think this game was actually made in Germany as well. Or at least by a German company or something, as far as I remember. And I love that they also got German voice actors and, let them speak in their native accent. And didn't have, even for the English dub, just got American actors or something. It gives the whole thing its own feel. Oh, and by the way, if you're looking at these backgrounds and things, so the characters are... I think the characters are 3D rendered, lighting effects and things. But from what I remember, the actual backgrounds were actually models they built and photographed, and then, edited a little bit with interactive elements. So that's fascinating. It definitely looks... It has a really, really unique style of its own.
No juice. Out of gas. And the engine is overheated. Tiny rock gas station. A beacon in the dark.
Bacon in the dark. Sorry. What's this? Stars?
Some of these constellations seem familiar. Or do they?
Okay. Not sure I recognize any.
At least the cold chain is unbroken.
That's a very German thing to say. It's there's a whole legal thing about frozen food, and how basically from the manufacturer to the store and from the store to the customer, there is this thing called the cold chain, which is basically means that it always has to be refrigerated at the proper temperature. And even though the food wouldn't go bad immediately if that chain was broken for a second, the law kind of enforces that it's unbroken the entire way, to guarantee that when the customer gets it, and they're usually, they put it in their bags and they wait in the queue at the register and things like that. So there the cold chain gets broken at least once. And then, at home there might be another moment or something, So basically they go and say, okay, we have to make sure that until it gets to the customer, this is an unbroken chain of properly refrigerated food, so that no matter what mistakes the customer makes, the food doesn't go bad. What's this?
Terra Incognita Scenic Highway. Next town ahead. Long shot by the sea. Sounds promising.
Long shot by the sea. That's an interesting thing.
My tires should still last a couple of miles.
Cold chain is broken. Oops, looks like I have to eat the whole bucket of ice cream now. Yeah.
Hansen's ice cream. I used to love it when I was little.
That's not a brand I recognize, so I think it's just a, style of logo that is reminiscent of old ice cream brands. Hansen is a very typically northern German name, so I might be wrong because, I'm basically down at the south. But it's a nice detail.
If it wasn't for the sand and rubble, the impenetrable darkness, the legions of bugs, and that awful smell of gasoline everywhere, this sure could make a nice place for a picnic.
It's a bit of a long list. It's the bugs, it smells of gas. It's way too badly lit.
Somebody forgot their toolbox.
Yoink.
This loot box contains only some rusty pliers.
Loot box. Okay. If you want to call it a loot box, then do that.
Hello? Anybody in there? I could really use some gas.
Audios. No. I love this keyboard, but occasionally it just thinks when I press a key several times, especially the volume key, which I guess is the one I press repeatedly, it just doesn't catch the stop.
Meals on wheels. Your order is waiting. Tax investigation. Open the door.
I like how she tries to put on the authoritative tone. Tax investigation. Open the door.
Can you please let me in? I'm totally not a vampire, I swear. How should I open the door with these rusty pliers?
I guess it doesn't work.
Locked. Of course. Dad used to say, a flawless establishment needs flawless window panes.
All right.
Dad used to say, a flawless establishment needs flawless window panes.
Yeah, I guess they're pretty good.
It's just one short circuit before everything blows up into my face. Those pliers won't help me with that.
Okay.
I wish. It's frozen shut.
Huh. Oh, thank you for the host, Mupin. How's it going? Huh. So, is there anything else? Doesn't look like it. Huh.
Milestones. Did they ever actually help anyone? Not a chance. I need to find some gas and engine coolant first.
Oh, what's this?
Does it
Drainage
ever
pipe.
rain here anyway?
Ha!
No way. A hidden replacement key. That was too easy. As if it wanted to be found.
Okay, I guess.
It fits. That was almost too easy.
Don't say that.
It's pitch black. I can't even see my own hands.
It's interesting, you can tell where the rendered door is and what part is the picture of the model.
There's something funny about that picture.
Is that... Okay, she walks out again. Okay. I thought maybe we could close the door and there would be a light switch behind that or so. Huh. Alright. So there seems to be a wire going over the door.
Oops. A hidden switch.
Ah.
This must be the main fuse.
Bzzzt. Ah, no, it worked. But it's interesting, you can kind of see in a lot of spots what is the model, and I'm not sure, this could just be a drawing they taped on the wall like this. But, okay. Oh, what's this?
Looks dusty.
How judgmental.
This is the end of nowhere. I wonder if these postcards would ever reach their destination.
Well, we can always take
This
one with
shows
us.
a map of the area. I'll take it with me.
A map of the area.
Quite off the beaten track.
Nice. So I don't think we have an inventory. Okay. Oh, here's a painting.
I know this image. Daytona Beach Race 58. What an event.
All right. I guess we're somewhere in the US.
Electrical cables.
Okay, she won't do anything with the wiring here.
The landscape on that picture vaguely reminds me of home.
It looks a bit like the Trüberbrook picture we saw at the beginning.
It's a picture of a buffalo.
Buffalo, 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 whatever.
What I wouldn't give to be there.
Is that San Francisco? Looks like it could be the Golden Gate Bridge or the Bay Bridge. Could also be like one of a dozen other suspending bridges, but who knows?
All I have left are a few Deutschmarks. pretty useless out here anyways.
What does it say? Hot dog, pizza, fries. Is that Perrier or something? Pie, ice cream, Coke, water, and is that supposed to be coffee? I think it's missing an E. Or they spelled it cafe or something. Which, you know, would be a common mistake for a German to make, come to think of it. Oh, what's this?
20% bun, 5% cold cuts, and 75% cling film. Thanks, but no thanks.
75% cling film. Oh.
Again, that ghastly tune.
Okay, so I guess she has a relation to that music. I haven't really found anything. Oh, coffee.
Coffee. If there's something I can't stand, it's cherry pie and hot coffee.
Picky. Picky eater.
Cherry pie. If there's something I can't stand, it's cherry pie and hot coffee.
All right. Don't know if there's anything that we can see out there now. I guess we have power now.
Now they are working again. Drink up. You must be dying of thirst.
All right. And now I guess we need coolant or something.
I wish. It's frozen shut. At least the cold chain is unbroken. Electrical cables.
Ah.
Zip.
Okay. Now we've cut the cables for some weird reason. We can't turn off the music anymore. So where did... Oh!
Cold water is leaking out.
That sounds good.
Not until I have found a way to cool down the engine.
So how do we get this cold water?
My tires should still last a couple of miles.
So we have cold water.
My tires should still last a couple of miles.
Yeah, no, I meant this.
If it wasn't for the sand and rubble, the impenetrable darkness, the legions of bugs, and that awful smell of gasoline everywhere, this sure could make a nice place for a picnic.
Oh.
Extra large, no refill.
No refill. Oh, we can refill it, don't worry. It's an interesting user interface that they did there, that they basically went with a radial menu where it pops out a second layer of radial menu with the possible choices.
Cold as ice. Exactly what I need. There you go. Have some Kool-Aid.
Cool aid or the soda? It's a cool idea.
Done. Finally, we can make off again.
Alright, and where are we going now?
Oh, come on. Start already. It's that darn oil pump again. Looks like we'll be stuck here for a while.
Aw. Aw. Cows. This looks very model-like. Well done. Like even how the car is driving. I wonder if that's like a stop-motion shot. Yeah, it looks very much like a train set. Right. Of the bus look a lot, look very computer animated. I guess it could also just be, like cotton wool. Gorgeous music. Interesting. Prologue. The Lazarus Incident.
You sure this is the right place? When's the next bus back to the city? Beverly, I have arrived. I feel spewed out into the most barren, dark void of Europe. All things considered, this could most likely be the best vacation ever. Feeling chilled out already.
What's the next bus? Feeling chilled out already. Okay, I guess we're playing as you now.
The next city is like 1,000 miles away.
I like that you can actually read Bundesrepublik Deutschland. Federal Republic of Germany.
Ah, yes. That's where I am.
I guess it's a map of the entire country. Helpful.
The bus stop. My gateway to the outside world.
I don't see any... I guess we can't find out when the next bus back goes. So, hopefully he wasn't serious about that. I guess we can walk. More opening credits. Okay. Oh. That's probably the voice actress we heard.
Looks cold.
Looks cold, okay. Yeah, there's some fairly well-known in Germany stars doing the voice acting in this game.
Its heydays are over.
It's called Eurydike, which is Orpheus' wife, if my classical theater titles don't fail me here. Who he went after into hell and was told, I think that was the where he was told, don't turn around no matter what she says, and she didn't know, and she kept telling him, don't look, why aren't you looking at me, like, and things like that. And then in the end he got tempted and turned around, and she got pulled back, of course, because that was the rule, him not looking back.
Hades. Paddleboat rental, souvenirs, fishing supplies. Closed.
It's interesting. So what does it say? Bootsverleih und Andenken. Ah, okay, so boat rental and souvenirs. And yeah, so the place is called Hades after the god of the underworld, and the boat is called Eurydike. I sense the theme here. Did he say its heydays are over when he saw the Hades sign? Was that meant to be a pun? He said that about the boat, but maybe it was supposed to be a pun and would work, yeah. Its heydays are over. Dirk von Loftshoff. Okay, that's not a name I know. That's that banner looks like a, like the non-litigible, there's an ice cream band that had those red and white banners back in the 80s, at the least, probably earlier, with this circle and their name in the middle. And my guess is it's supposed to look, reminiscent of that. I think that it says Hansen ice cream. So yeah, that's probably supposed to be an ice cream banner. I guess they just, changed up the colors and things so it wouldn't actually be the brand. Although they did change their design in the 90s, I think. Late 90s, I think. So most people probably wouldn't recognize that from back then.
A hiking map of the region. The upper section has been torn off.
Huh. How rude.
Trüberbrook, county of Brokenlande, 1 kilometer, or 0.621371 miles.
0.621371 miles. Someone was very precise.
I wonder what that is.
Oh, that's in the water? Oh no, it's on a post. I wonder what that is too. Is that something I should recognize? It seems like slatted at the front, as if it has to let air in or something. It doesn't really look like a mailbox. If this was like a little booth standing on the beach or something, then they have these little seats in the northern, quite windy areas. But I don't know what this really is. One little nit, loving this game so far. Jan Böhmermann, he's a TV host as well.
Arrived at destination after a short walk. Trüberbrook, a tranquil little town. Seems a bit run down. I must say, Beverly, I absolutely fell in love with this town already.
Yeah, one tiny detail is
That's not the way to the guest house.
Okay, we can't go back. You may have noticed that at the previous location, there was this area between the trees that was clickable, and then when you selected it, you got this finger to say interact with that. And, that makes sense for interactions, but of course here, for the walking on the path, I would have kind of wished they'd just swapped that icon for 2 little feet or something. Would have just, been a little more... Because, it's a hand. You don't walk on your hands down the gravel path. Oh, what's this?
Wooden fences always remind me of my old neighborhood.
Notice that he has a very clear, I would say, American accent. Not the German accent that we've heard so far. And he's talking to someone named Beverly, which is also not or making recordings for someone of that name, which is, not a name you would encounter much in Germany. So Eisdiele again is an ice cream parlor. Aw, cute fox.
That is one strange-looking cat.
Yeah, that's... Excuse me, sir, that is not a cat. That's, what is it? Dog software running on cat hardware is, I think, how someone described foxes once. Can we pet the kitty? Nope, the fox runs away. Makes sense. At least that means he doesn't have rabies. Or she. Köhne-Gasse. Okay, so it's... Gasse means alley. I don't know. Köhne is not a real word. So that means it's probably either a name of someone or some archaic form. Anno 1683. Yeah, I mean, you can see from the style that this house is built. These wooden frames filled out with little bits of rock and then, what's it called? Plastered? Like how you usually coat outside walls. That's a very traditional old style for historical houses.
That's probably the town's landmark.
Okay, it's a knight with a bird on its shoulder. The bird is real, though. Oh, and it flies away. It's a nice detail. Okay, no names I know.
There's a selection of local charcuterie on display. Würstebrei, Stippgrütze, Schlachte Platte, Pothoeker, Tote Oma.
So that seems all like weird names for butcher's products. The last one literally translates as dead grandma. I guess that's, what is it called? Pig in a blanket? Which is an English dish. I think it's basically a dough pastry filled with meat or something like that. So yeah, I can't really read what the shop is called. Lichtspielhaus Möbius Palast. So that's Lichtspielhaus is a fancy word for a cinema, literally light play house. And Palast is palace, Möbius. So it's a Möbius Palace is what the cinema is called.
The mysterious village. Who is into this kind of stuff?
Das geheimnisvolle Dorf. Okay, the word is kind of split up. The word. But I guess that's the movie that's playing here right now. Pension Waldeslust. Franziska van der Heide. The name Franziska van der Heide sounds like I've heard it somewhere. So pension is like a small, I guess, kind of almost like a small bed and breakfast or something, a little more on the organized side than some of the, bed and breakfast might just be, small, private people renting out a room or something. But here, pension is a little more organized, but it's like a small hotel, I think. I actually never bothered looking up in my entire life what the difference between a hotel and a pension is. I think I remember now, there is the term Vollpension or Halbpension, which means like whether you get, breakfast, lunch, dinner, kind of like, if it's a full pension, then it's you get all of it. If it's Halbpension, then you might only get breakfast and have to look where to get lunch and dinner yourself or something like that. So it might be some classification related to something like that. Like that a pension only rents out or only provides certain services, and a hotel usually provides more.
Small ads, postings, announcements. They're holding a town fair soon. Exciting.
It's interesting, he sounds so calm. And, observing. Let's see what's up here before we go in here where we're supposed to go. He walks.
I should check into my room first before I start exploring the town.
Okay. Then I guess we go here. Ah, and we can fast travel. Okay. Like, if I remembered.
Hey!
Oh.
Nobody there, huh?
Doesn't seem so.
So she's the lady we played as earlier. That says daily menu or menu of the
Today's
day.
menu. Nothing.
Today's menu. Nothing.
That's quite a few fishing rods they have there.
Huh.
Please ring bell for service. We only serve small pots of coffee outside the restaurant.
Für Service bitte klingeln. Draußen nur Kännchen. Ah, okay. That's like a German cliche. There's a lot of restaurants who... I think he emphasized it wrong. It's not we serve only small pots of coffee, but rather we only serve small pots of coffee. Instead of, you can't, if you're eating outside, you can't just say, I want 1 cup of coffee. You have to order at the least a small pot. And that's, a common thing they do. I guess it's, I think maybe a pension has no stars. You have never seen a 5-star pension, and they also don't have a reception. Yeah, don't know. I mean, here it has a reception, so the question is, is this like a pun? That it says, well, there is a reception, but it's not available, or what? But yeah, good question. So the draußen nur Kännchen is kind of like a cliche of bourgeois restaurant owners, where it's like, these are the rules. Outside, we only serve small pots. You can't just get a cup. I think the idea is that if you order a cup, then, they have to keep running outside to your table and back in when they're doing other stuff. And so I think the draußen nur Kännchen rule that many many restaurants have that have outside seating is, to kind of save them from having to run in and out, and probably also, to make at least a bit of money, and maybe even offset, the people running away. Kind of, it's the risk if you're sitting outside instead of inside that they don't see you leaving. And so, by making persons at least get a small pot, those people who pay a little more in one go, and then if one runs away, those people that would have just bought a small cup offset the loss or something. I don't know. Really, I never worked in the restaurant business. I just heard it like as something being made fun of. They have, like in some restaurants that serve beer, they also have things like, outside we only serve the a mass of beer, so like 1 liter glasses, and not the half-liter glasses that you would usually get. So there has to be some economic thing. Also, like it's not just forcing customers to buy stuff they don't want, but usually they do stuff like that if it, makes it possible at what's it called? At lunchtime or something, when there's high traffic. It means that they don't keep running in and out for someone who decides they want 3 cups instead of 1. You're guaranteed that you get a small cup and you get at least 2 cups out of it or something like that. By the time you've drunk a mass of beer, it's stale. Yeah, I think that's what the Northern Germans actually complain about, like in Cologne, where they serve beer. So that's like a typical German thing, that there are like the North and the South are divided about how to properly serve beer. So in Bavaria, it's like the bigger the better. You get a 1 liter glass of beer, which is like, about this tall and this diameter. So it's like a really nice big thing with a handle. And of course, some people complain, if you have this much beer, you're either, like drinking it really quickly and drinking too much and drinking too fast and kind of not enjoying it. Or, if you're drinking it slowly, then it's stale by the end. But if the other argument is, well, the waiter gave you a beer and you have beer, like for the hour or whatever. So you don't have to constantly reorder beer. And the way the North solved that problem is they serve their beer in small glasses, 0.2 liters, 0.2 liters. So that means it's like a comparatively small glass, actually. And what they do is they basically run around with a wooden board that has like 10 or so of these small glasses on it. And they just walk through the restaurant and you just raise your hand and they drop down one of these glasses, make a short check mark on your coaster and, move on. And so, since they, like every couple minutes someone walks around with a board full of beer and just, serves everyone really quickly. And then by the time the waitress comes to, like wrap up the table and get the payment, all she has to do is check, okay, how many marks are on the coaster. And so that means you get small glasses of fresh beer, you drink them, and as soon as you've drunk it, you just raise your hand and the next one is there. You don't wait for a long time. And so you can drink a lot of beer across the evening, and it's always fresh. And, there is this whole, like, fight between North and South about this. About, like, oh, your tiny beer glasses, and that's not real beer. You don't drink enough and things like that. And the problem is usually everywhere the kind of beer that is brewed in Cologne is served in these small glasses. But if you get it in the South, it's a regular order. You have to, flag down the waitress, wait for her to come over, tell her I want one of these small beers, and then she goes back and and prepares it and brings it to you. So it's all a lot slower because it's the back and forth on demand thing versus the, I guess you could almost say, like mass produced conveyor belt like delivery of fresh beer. And so, of course, the Bavarians think, yeah, it's totally inconvenient to have small amounts of beer if the waitress always takes so long. But that's not how it's usually served. And the Czechs are in the middle. The waitress dumps half-liter glasses in front of you and makes a mark on the coaster. Yeah. Well, the mark on the coaster thing, yeah, is not that uncommon in general. But the difference with the Kölsch delivery is just that, that you can just have the intern or someone walk out with this board full of... It's really just like a wooden board with maybe like a little bit of an edge so the glasses don't slip off. But it's often, it's not a tray in the classical sense. And you just have like a whole bunch of beers behind it, and they just walk here and you see your hand, dup, 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 continue, dup, 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 so it's really fast. It's a clever idea. Efficient delivery, as you would expect from the German cliche.
Look at all these beautiful people.
Sven Österle, Sven Q45. Oh, these are probably... Are these Kickstarter backers? This looks like they had like their character designer, do drawings of Kickstarter backers or whatever they did.
Must be some kind of ancestral gallery.
Sherman Archibald, inventor of the sheet music-based programming language Sherman++, known to be mastered only by a few experts. Okay, so I guess people were able to get like a story written about them or a little byline. Maggie Bückert, co-inventor of the revitalizing drink Tea-Spresso, likes to ride a bicycle without being able to control it. Lives together with the two imaginary shaven cats, Butch Cassidy and Sundance Kid. Okay, that's cute. I think we haven't looked at this one yet. Alex Valero Danda. According to legend, this young and reckless musician translated a copy of the Necronomicon kept at the Goethe-Universität, Frankfurt am Main, into Spanish and intended to write songs based on it. He disappeared soon after. So, Frankfurt, of course, a city in Germany. There are two Frankfurts. One Frankfurt is like the big one that you might know from the airport. It's a big international airport, so if you've ever flown into Germany, that is, you probably either came into Berlin, Frankfurt, Munich. I think those are the big airports. Berlin, Frankfurt, Munich. So, Universität is university, of course. And so, the big Frankfurt is near River Main, spelled like Maine. And there is, in Eastern Germany, there's another Frankfurt that is near River Oder. And so that would be Frankfurt an der Oder or Frankfurt am Main is the two cities that can be. And he was apparently at the University of Frankfurt am Main, where he did his Spanish translation of the Necronomicon and disappeared. It's a cool idea, kind of. I wonder if this will be part of a puzzle or not. Sometimes they make you look something up later, and then it's like, okay, you have to find out what this and that person, is famous for. And often, like in what's the game called? Thimbleweed Park. In the game Thimbleweed Park, they had a library and let all the Kickstarter backers come up with names for the books. And the cool thing is, you go into this library and there's one of these hundreds of books that you're supposed to get. But you can't just, click around wildly and find one, because there was, I don't know, 200 books or something whose titles were crowdsourced from the backers. And one of the weird titles in between those was the one that was actually relevant to the story. And there were, people did lots of inside jokes about, Day of the Tentacle and Monkey Island and whatever, similar games. Given that several of the people who did Thimbleweed Park were actually involved in the design of various LucasArts point-and-click adventures, And so that's a clever idea where you can say, okay, if I'm kickstarting my game and I have a puzzle like that, I can use that puzzle as an incentive. You can say, the basic tier is just, kickstart the game and get a copy. But then the slightly higher tier is you get to contribute a book name. And that way you encourage people to pay a little more than they usually would, but you still are able to offer a entry-level price for backers that is, suitable even for people who don't have much money to spend. Because they can go, okay, I just want the game, it's fine. And, in the end, you need to get your whole amount of money for your Kickstarted game. That's the important part. So you actually have the money to build the game. So you don't want to leave any money on the table. If you're at 9,990 and each copy of the game is $20, but you need the $10,000 to be able to make the game, then, it's fine for you to say, well, I'll let 4 people get it for $5 each, because then I have my 10,000. But how do you get the majority of people to kickstart at a higher level? Yes, you provide incentives like, hey, your book gets in there, or your name gets in the phone book was also a reward they had. Lara and Jeff, owner of the much-loved coffee house Trüberbrook Castle, captain of the local football team, SPVGG Forward Trüberbrook 1887. That's a typical sports club name, for a small one at least. SPV is probably Sportverein, so sports. What is Verein in English? Just a group of people getting together and performing a hobby. But Verein is usually kind of it's a legal concept, you can register to found one, but it's usually not necessarily a for-profit organization, but it's more organized and has statutes and things like that. Yeah, and 1887 is, I guess, when it was founded. Thilo Walter Finger saved the world thrice, but no one will ever know. It's nice. Christian Hundley, runner-up for the 2nd annual pretzel eating contest. Oh, okay, it's just runner-up for the 2nd annual pretzel eating contest. So it's not quite, it's not number 1. I initially thought it was runner-up for 2nd place at the annual pretzel eating contest, at which point the only way to make this backer even more ridiculous would be by saying there were only 3 people who took part in this contest.
This leads to the rooms.
That's kind of nice. Like, it's all written out in German. But when he says, like, he reads it out, and that's kind of something you expect from the game. But as someone who plays it in English, it's actually it's less repetitive than usual. There is this whole thing in, like, games with dialogue choices, where people complain that, the short way they describe a dialogue choice so that you can click it and then the character will say it, that those aren't exact enough representations of what will be said. And the problem is, it's always a trade-off, the player. It's kind of boring if you've already read the entire sentence your character is to say, and then have to wait for the characters to actually speak them. So what they usually try to do is give you a short summary, sometimes even just one word, like angry, happy, or polite, So you get this short one to choose, and then whatever your character says will be new to you. But of course, that sometimes means that you get surprised and you go, I really didn't mean to say it that way. I read, this phrase, tell him what you think, as telling them polite, when it's actually, hey, I'm giving him a piece of my mind.
They don't seem to have many bookings. All the keys are still there.
There's one missing. Did you not see that? Huh? Okay, let's try to ding ding again.
Hello? I'm not going to give up.
Oh.
Good afternoon. How can I help you, darling?
There's a room reserved for me. You know the lottery? I won a stay over here.
You won? How can you win a stay in Trüberbrook?
Well, actually, I don't really remember taking part in any lottery myself. Yet I received this winning notification.
What was the name again?
Ah, okay. His name is Tannhäuser. Okay. So that's a famous Wagner opera.
Hans Tannhäuser. T-A-N?
Tannhäuser, 11hauser. Oh, Dr. Hans Tannhäuser. Oh yes, here we have it.
Say, is it a quiet room?
Seeking some peace and quiet,
Well, I'm working on a text and I could really use some serenity.
Text? Are you a kind of writer or something?
In a broader sense, normally I work for a university. I wouldn't say that.
In a broader sense, yes. Right now, I'm writing a paper on quantum physics.
I've heard worse. You arrived just in time for the big anniversary celebration. Trüberbrook is a bit noisier than usual around these days. But apart from that, I'd say you have nothing to worry about in terms of disturbance. Here's your key, Dr. Tannhauser. My name is Trude, by the way.
If you don't mind, where are all the other guests?
Let's put it this way. The season in Trüberbrook is already over.
I get the impression the season has been over for some time.
I like that. Everyone is kind of looking at me. I didn't get to talk to her. Damn it.
What?
Please, you've got to help me.
Did that guy just disappear with my paper? Something unusual happened. There was an uninvited guest in my room tonight. Now that he's escaped, I'm going to chase him down.
Okay.
What a mess. I don't want to mess up the crime scene. At least it seems the burglar didn't rummage through the cabinet. It seems rather unpleasant outside.
I'm glad that they don't seem to run towards everything when you examine it or something. It would make it a lot slower.
Hanging dead animals on your wall is a bit eccentric. Creepy. Some kind of a sea monster. Must be a local myth.
Okay, he doesn't come back when you turn the light off.
What is this? Some kind of goo.
Goo. I guess we'll follow the footsteps. Aw! The globe fell down.
Where did he go?
Well, there are footsteps on the floor.
Even more of that strange goo.
The goo, the goo.
The traces lead outside.
She's no longer here. Spooky. He got scared. An analog scam.
In the pale starlight, this village appears to be composed of jagged silhouettes and loneliness.
What's she doing here?
A trail of goo. The thief must have left it behind. The trail leads further uptown.
Hey there. Taking a little night stroll?
Someone was in my room.
You only just got here and you already have secret admirers?
No, it was a burglar. I think.
Well, I haven't seen anyone sneaking around here, but if I were you, I would probably follow these somewhat extremely obvious footprints.
You've got a point there. Please excuse me.
She's mysterious.
This situation is growing aggravating. I followed the person who stole my notes into a kind of dead-end street. And now he's vanished. Picture me standing here at the edge of the world, stripped of my writings.
I wonder who on earth would steal a paper on quantum physics.
She's not at all judgmental on quantum physics. I mean, what's that even good for?
What's this trail of slime the burglar left behind?
Oh. I don't really want to know what he stepped in there.
That sign says außer Betrieb, out of order.
I wonder if she knows something about the burglar.
Do you like ghost stories? It is said that a Proto-Germanic cult used to live up here in the mountains. They prayed to the spirits of the forests. I know it's a long shot, but maybe this visitor of yours is one of those spirits?
Proto-Germans sure had a lot of imagination. This guy didn't really seem... He seemed too normal. This guy wasn't really a ghost.
This guy wasn't really a ghost. Or was he?
Nonsense, I was just trying to mess with you. What was your name again? Tenhauser? Name's Gretchen. I'm an anthropologist. In fact, those old Proto-Germanic ritual grounds just so happen to be my special subject. One of them is supposedly somewhere around here, though I haven't been able to find it yet.
Gretchen, well met. Now, that's all well and good, but what am I going to do without my notes?
You know what? I'm going to help you track down that burglar. It looks like he escaped with one of the old gondolas. I bet he's hiding somewhere in the mountains, which, incidentally, is also where I was heading. Come on, you're a scientist. You're coming with me now and you're going to help me find this ritual site. Who knows, maybe you'll even find your evil spirit there. The one with an interest in quantum whatchamacallits. You scratch my back, I scratch yours. So what do you say? You with me?
I like that his cigarette's fire starts like an inch above the cigarette itself. We better call the police or an exorcist. I already have an appointment. I'm not so much of an anthropology guy. I think I'll go. He's a scientist. We better call the police or an exorcist.
Ha! I knew you had the spirit of adventure in you. Are you ready to go? I'm ready to go. The early bird catches the worm and all that. We have to find a way up the mountain. It would be easiest if we used a cable car. I reckon that's also what our friend thought.
The cable car doesn't exactly appear to be in pristine condition. What do you think?
Don't worry, I'm sure I can fix this.
Okay. Chapter 1. Welcome to Trüberbrook. Trüberbrook.
I can't fix this. The master key is missing and a weasel damaged the electric mains.
Maybe it was the burglar who did this.
The plan. I'll hold the position and try my best. Why don't you take a look around town? We need the master key for the cable car. Also, we need to override the broken mains. Think you can remember that?
I'll try to remember.
Let's go. This is going to be fun.
Telescope.
These binoculars should provide an excellent view of the opposite lakeshore. I have to insert a coin first.
Oh, okay.
The local gondola lift's hauling cables seem to be intact, although there aren't any gondolas or mining carts attached to it. A smell of oil and soil lingers in the air.
That's interesting.
You can see all over the valley. From this distance, I can only imagine what's on the other shore. The platform further uptown presents a wonderful view of the valley. Leaning on this rusty rail, nose to the wind, I can let my gaze wander freely to the other shore and across the mountains.
High voltage. There's got to be a way we can fix this.
It's another of these
I
boxes.
wonder what that is.
Okay, so they seem to be setting those up as a mystery.
You can see all over the valley.
Oh, okay, that was the
From this distance,
one. That's a... You see that sign everywhere, like exactly like this.
danger. High voltage.
It basically, like, it has this lightning thing, and then it says high voltage, danger, or careful, danger of death, basically.
This old generator is running at maximum strength. It's even sending out sparks.
Ouch, they misspelled strength.
Judging by the smell, this was used to transport cookies and lollipops.
Okay. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is an old ancient artifact that used to be found all over Germany, but now is almost extinct. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the common yellow postal phone box. Back when the post office also used to run the telephone. But their color was yellow. Oh, small yellow house. How cute. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, if you needed a landline, that's where you went.
Hello? Anybody there?
Why is it singing the melody? Da, 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 da.
Time waits for no man, not even in Trüberbrook. I discovered a modern telecommunication system further uptown. This might be important to anybody wondering if the world is still turning at the end of the line.
Is the world still turning? How can we sleep when our beds are burning? Alright, so I guess we have to find something to connect these wires.
High voltage. There's got to be a way we can fix this.
It's a well-known fact that weasels have a dangerously loving affection towards all sorts of cables. The present case suggests a rather impressive specimen, judging by the thickness of the cable. Last resort, self-termination.
What? Did he just say, well, if I meet this huge, dangerous weasel, I'm going to... I can always kill myself. Ooh. What the heck? He has a skull with antlers, or a head of some sort of small deer attached to the back of his wheelchair, and he's wearing one of those, you know, World War I helmets.
Actually, it's quite a nice table.
Be careful. The table is wobbling terribly.
True.
You better keep your distance. This table has a horrible wobble.
Wibble wobble.
This table, it has a wobble. Everything's going down the drain around here.
Okay. That's all he can think about, apparently.
Good morning.
Excuse me, sir.
You've got yourself a nice spot here.
It's heartbreaking to see the town in decline like this. Everything's going down the drain, just like this wobbly table.
He seems a bit fixated on this table.
Good morning.
Excuse me, sir.
I've been wondering about that cable car.
I don't want to think about the old cable car. This wobbling table is simply unbearable. It's driving me crazy.
Okay, so I guess we need to find some sort of object that we can put underneath the table. Whoops.
Looks like it was struck by lightning the other night. Still looks in good condition, though.
Interesting. The sword is still smoking. I like the warning tape.
Hilarious the Unready, Margrave of Trüberbrook. Conqueror of the Dragon, Savior of Trüberbrook, yep. In the year of our Lord, 1250.
Oh. Herzlich willkommen. Genießen Sie unsere hausgemachten Eisspezialitäten. Be, what would you call it? Heartily welcome. There's a better word for that, but I can't think of like the adjective. Like be very welcome or enjoy our homemade ice specialties, ice cream. Oh, and that's why we couldn't walk down there, because this Königgasse has a gate on it. Okay.
Wooden fences always remind me of my old neighborhood.
Be cordially welcome. Yeah, Ada, that's a good way. Yeah, cordial even means the same thing. Ooh. Oh, now we can. And now you see, like, there is this indicator. Okay, that's the end of the map, and we can interact with it, and then you can choose, go there. Other games have solved that pretty well, where when you go towards the edge, so basically when your pointer is over this area that is marked here, your mouse pointer will actually change into like a left arrow or a right arrow or something, just to indicate walk this way. Talk this way, oh baby, to walk this way. She told me to talk this way. Sorry. But anyway, so I guess we can walk back now and see if there's anything else that's interesting. Oh. What are you doing?
Again.
This cat again. It's a fox. Can't you see that? Have you never seen a fox? Oh.
A beautiful, healthy tree. Acersoidu platanus, the sycamore maple.
In the menu, they said double click is power walk, which I think is a fun description. Okay, I don't. Oh, wait.
That's some sturdy, full-grown reed.
Can we pick some up? Okay, I guess we might have a use for that.
Brr, looks cold.
Okay, still the same message then. Alright. We can only look at the cat. weirdest cat I've ever seen. Can we go? Oh.
There's a clothesline up there, right under my window.
Oh, so I guess we could go to our room and like...
A hanger is dangling from the clothesline. Marvelous engineering.
What? Marvelous engineering. A coat hanger. I mean, yes, if you've ever had to make do without a coat hanger, you'll be impressed by, you know, like, they're really useful, you know. There was a reason we invented them. They keep your clothes looking a lot better and less crumpled.
Small ads, postings, announcements. They're exciting.
Let's see what's going on inside the pension. Oh, there's her paper from yesterday. 998 years of Trüberbrook. All that we wish for is a wonderful festivity for a wonderful place that is our beloved Trüberbrook. Mayor J. Bierschock. Yes, and that means exactly what it sounds like. Weekend weather, with the sun shining and almost no clouds in sight, this seems to be the perfect weekend for a boating adventure on our beautiful lake. International edition for the locals, expats, and visitors of Trüberbrook. Friday, August 4th, 1967. So 40 pfennigs. Pfennigs. Okay. Yeah, pfennig is like cent back before the euro. There was mark and pfennig was the currencies. And like that's the smaller ones. 100 pfennige give 1 mark. Week 35. Number 1607. So if we divide that by 52, we get to know when this newspaper was actually first published, I guess. At least a rough approximation, if there weren't any gaps and things like that. Trüberbrook. Our beautiful village of Trüberbrook was first mentioned in the records in 969. Though we all are looking forward excitedly to the big 1000, we feel that 998 years are equally a birthday worth celebrating. The Tribune and the Trüberbrookian Advertising Association, TAA, would hereby like to invite you to a fabulous celebration. The party is being held on September 1st, and that's been circled with a ball pen. It's nice, the ball pen line looks really real. It's like, I guess it's the lower dot of the Y that makes it sound, look like the starting. You know when you used a ball pen that was just a little bit old? It would, like, the first touch would be darker than the rest of the drawing, because it would, you know, like rub off dried ink along with the actual lines that you drew, and the bottom little round bit of the Y kind of collided with a line that it looked exactly like it had been from that. Same with the F here, you know, here these dark dots made it look to me like someone had kind of made several attempts at drawing a full line with a bad pen. The party is being held on September 1st, as every year, in front of the memorial of our founding father, Heinz Erebus Erdmann von Übelgönne. What a name. I mean, Erebus... So Heinz is a pretty normal, if, you know, boring German name. Erebus is, well, a Latin name, so I don't really know. That's probably like a name handed down in the family or something. Erdmann is it's like a squirrel or something, Erdmännchen. But it's also a name. Oh, thank you, room 215. Yeah, I really need to. Did you hear that? That was an actual bone crack there. Oh. Thank you. Good point. Hi, how are you doing? All right. So yeah, anyway, so Erdmann is actually a first name as well. It literally kind of means like Earthman. So kind of wondering why he would be named that. But hey, I mean it's an kind of an old name. And Übelgönner. So übel is like something bad, or like mir ist übel would be I'm feeling sick. Kind of in the I'm getting sick, not like illness, but you know, like throwing up kind of thing. And gönnen is like to appreciate when someone else gets something. But Übelgönner would kind of mean something like you wish ill on someone. So it's a really weird name. Heinz Erebus Erdmann von Übelgönner. Resentment. Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, that's a good translation. We all rejoice to tap a new vintage barrel of our Bolzenschuss schnapps and try a crispy bratwurst or schnitzel with sauerkraut. Bolzenschuss? I think a Bolzenschuss is a... what is it? Like it's a device that kind of ejects a bolt. It's used to slaughter cattle in a humane way because it's, you know, like fast and efficient. And you know, they're instantly dead. It's not in some way that, you know, you use a knife or something and you know, they take a moment to die or something. So a Bolzenschussgerät would be, I don't remember what it's called. I looked it up years ago. But it's is it called bolt gun or something? I think it was a fairly simple. But yeah, so calling your booze, your local brand of booze, Bolzenschutz, is an interesting way to say it. I guess maybe the butcher store that we saw is related to the inventor of that booze. Let's swing the leg to a very special musical guest that has yet to be revealed. As in previous years, there will be a big raffle with lots of great prizes. The grand first prize will be an all-day paddle boat trip on the scenic Trüberbrook Lake. Sponsored by Hades Souvenir Shop and Boat Rental, from the folks next door to the one-time visitor. Everyone is invited, so please feel free to bring your families, friends, loved ones, neighbors, and pets. Be there or be square. It's interesting. From the folks next door to the one-time visitor? I don't know what they're referring to. So basically their moonshine is deadly. It kind of sounds like that, yeah. Maybe that's kind of, you know, the image they're trying to evoke. You know, this is a dangerous drink for real adults. I had totally forgotten that that's a thing that newspapers used to do. Since you usually had several writers on staff, they used to write their initials at the end of every article, and then somewhere on a page in the back you could find, okay, PS is, I don't know, Peter Schneider, or whatever the name of the person who wrote the article was. And then you can find, okay, if this article is, like libeling me or something, who do I have to sue? Or this article is especially well informed. Okay, articles by this person about this topic are probably good. Like, usually these days you just have in smaller type, like the name of the writer and a link, on the website. So it's interesting. Oh, and somebody got bored here and painted the inner bits punzen. What are these called in? There's a typographical term for the holes in a letter, kind of the closed openings, which are the ones that were drawn in blue here by someone who was bored. New bus schedule. Trüberbrook. Same as every year comes the new bus schedule. From September on, the local post bus will head for Trüberbrook now only every other week. So in case you are expecting letters or a package, want to ship something, or just want to have a chat with our good old Ramona, we are sad to say that you will have to wait 2 weeks now instead of 1. As always, the schedule is valid until May next year. Okay, so we know now that in this city you have every other week you have a bus connection. And it's the one that brings in the mail. That was very common, by the way, at least in Germany and Switzerland. The post office used to run a bus company and used to run bus lines, which was basically just, they needed to have cars driving to certain cities to deliver the mail. And at the point where they were doing that, it's like, okay, sometimes people want to get there as well. So we'll just, take a big truck with like space for luggage in the bottom and seats at the top. And in the bottom, we'll put whatever mail bags or packages or things like that we have to deliver. And we get some extra people who get in the top area to be transported. In recent years, a lot of that has changed because a lot of the delivery, first, deliveries have come down with, email and stuff taking over. And then there have been, since those used to be government companies, usually they split them up into this is a bus company and this is the post office. And so now they have a small truck or whatever, or a car, and don't transport people anymore. So yeah, interesting. And it's nice someone drew a heart next to Ramona, which apparently is the bus driver. Trüberbrook around 969, artistic rendering. It's basically an empty forest with dried out trees. What I like here is that this article is also by PS, so it might be that all these articles... Oh. Is that a coaster? Of course, that's for the table. Because, I don't know if that's only a thing in Germany. Oh, did you just see that? There was an eagle from Space 1999, or Mondbasis Alpha, as they called it. Here, it's an eagle. Or 3, actually. And then there's the moon, the earth, and I guess that's the sun. I would have expected, since this is a German game, but maybe this is these black people on a platform or something that looked suspiciously like Raumpatrouille Orion. which is a German sci-fi show which I think got released 1 year after Star Trek. It, of course, had a, since Star Trek was made for all of the US, which is, 200 million people? I mean, not the TV audience, but just generally population that might be interested in something like that. For orders of magnitude. And Germany is about 80 million. So a lot less than half. Not even sure if 200 million is enough. I don't remember what the US inhabitant count was. But anyway, and so of course, if you can sell to fewer people, then of course you're not able to invest as much money in making it, because you plan so you can make a return. And so Raumpatrouille Orion is known for having the handle of a clothes iron as one of its control elements in its futuristic consoles, and like a colander as a radar dish and things like that. And it's a very, I would almost say 50s style sci-fi thing, like with monsters that are really just evil monsters that attack nothing of the detail and depth in the enemies that you would have seen in Star Trek.
Now where would this lead to? Locked.
Oh, now you actually hear shooting from the TV set. You hear these black uniforms. That's what makes me think this is the uniforms from Orion and not from Space 1999. Because the Space 1999 uniforms were actually like bright beige. So it can't even be like, oh, these are Star Trek uniforms and they just, in black and white seem to be black. But yeah, I also like the TV itself looks old. Like you see how much machine was needed just to make a TV. And then there's of course the cathode ray tube, which, is much smaller because the edges are rounded.
Science fiction. Something involving spaceships.
Please don't stand there.
Excuse me, didn't mean to. What's that you're watching?
Never seen a TV before?
Coming up next, a new episode of Rocket Ship Andromeda.
Have you been living under a rock? With a TV set, you can take journeys to other worlds. Now that I think of it, I have never seen you here before. Are you from another world as well?
You bet I am. My name is Hans. I just arrived from Berlin.
Hey Hans, I'm Leni. My mom owns the place.
70,000 light years from home, the rocket ship has stranded in star system Omega 3.
Is Berlin also in star system Omega 3?
Omega 3 is, yeah, exactly, is a fatty acid. All these answers are good. Let's go with close. Omega 4.
Close. Omega 4. That's right next to it.
So you know the place?
You bet I do.
Star Cybernetation Commander Aurora is searching for a way back home.
And what do you do for a living? Are you a famous cybernetician too?
Wave pool supervisor, parachute tester, astronaut. Now let's go with quantum physicist.
I'm a quantum physicist.
Quantum what? Anyways, I'm going to be a star cybernetician.
Only Commander Aurora can disintegrate the even Rolands into thin air with her space beams.
So, do you Bellinellians have any special powers? Can you make things disappear?
I can make incredible amounts of candy disappear. If you're referring to my bank deposit, I can make nosy kids. Let's go with that.
I can make incredible amounts of candy disappear.
I can do that too.
Stay tuned, folks. We will be right back after a few consumer-oriented product endorsements.
My uncle knew how to make things disappear as well. I also know where, but I mustn't tell anyone on Earth.
Your uncle was a wizard?
Your uncle was a wizard?
Wizards? They aren't even real.
So, what do I have to do to make you tell me?
There's only one thing I can think of. Can you prove you're not an Earthling?
I'll think of something.
Whoops. Bumped the microphone there. Sorry. I didn't even see that the room continued here. That food looks delicious, with the flies all over it.
Is that a maggot? It's having a good time.
Ugh. How long has that food been here?
Modern cuisine. A lump of minced meat in the shape of a hedgehog. Garnished with spike-resembling breadsticks. Toast Hawaii. Cheese skewers. Looks a bit shabby.
That's actually, for that time, fairly modern. It's called a Met Eagle. So Met is basically minced meat prepared in a way that you can eat it raw. It's basically a kind of, almost like a kind of sausage. And so one of the things one did was they built a hedgehog, eagle, out of Met. And, put like breadsticks as spikes in it and things like that. And it was like a tiny buffet-like thing. Oh, that's what a Met Eagle is. Yes, yes. And it's like late 60s, early 70s thing. That, like when people had a party or something, that was one of the, creative dishes. And then you see here they have like skewers with a grape and a few bits of cheese on it or something. Maybe a cracker at the bottom. I can't really tell if that's 2 bits of cheese or something else. So yeah, the food looks really a lot like that.
I don't want to take this with me. If anywhere, it belongs in the trash. But I love cheese skewers.
Oh.
Note to self, the buffet in this guest house is an obvious case for the public health department. I'll save you, my little friend.
Okay, we just took a maggot?
They serve traditionally hearty local meals in this place. Apparently, a few maggots found themselves a lovely home in there.
He picked up a maggot. Like, how would you like, does he have like a little box or something to keep it in?
A dim oil painting showing a couple of withering roses in a vase. Some of the varnish is starting to come off. How poetic. There's something funny about that clock.
Okay. I guess we'll be doing something with this clock at some point. Okay, and I think we wanted to go upstairs and see if we can see something at our window.
The weather has brightened up.
Ah, yes.
Fresh air is still the preferable way to dry your laundry.
Okay. Oh, what happened? That's the...
Before you even know, the world lies in ruins. I hope this isn't a bad omen.
Aw. Yeah. The world literally lies in ruins. Ooh. Towels.
At least it seems the burglar didn't rummage through the cabinet.
Okay. We already checked that. Oh, there's another coat hanger.
Just a hanger.
We have 2 coat hangers. It's interesting how when you click there's a little puddle of smoke or dust on the floor. It's been like that from like the start of the game. It kind of seems a little too much. Like it should adapt to the floor, I guess. But you know, it's good to see. Oh, it doesn't react here, but oh, it reacts here. So you know, as a piece of visual feedback, it's good. And now, yes, we can put the coaster.
It might be able to support a glass of beer, but not this table. Actually, it just needs one more mew. My father used to say, the only thing more stable than a beer coaster was 2 beer coasters. And I think I finally understand what he meant.
Okay, so I guess we have to find another coaster somewhere. I guess the towel doesn't work.
Thank you, but I believe this ordinary table is not deserving of your delicate tablecloth.
Okay. So where can we get another coaster?
I don't want to cover up these people's works of art. Looks like it was struck by lightning the other night.
Okay.
Looks like it was struck by lightning the other night. Still looks in good condition, though.
Ah, okay, that was what he said. Still looks in good condition. Yeah, we heard that before. Oh, what's this?
The time-traveling machine. Complete nonsense from a quantum mechanical perspective.
Aww. And as I pushed the lever forward, I think I have half of that movie memorized, including the pronunciation of lever. So, where me get second beer coaster? I guess we can talk to you. We haven't done that yet.
Good morning.
Morning, Mr. Tenhauser.
I'd like to report it.
I'd like to report a theft. There was an uninvited guest in my room last night.
In our house? Oh dear, I'm so very sorry. Let me call the police immediately.
Thanks.
I will keep you informed.
This establishment you call your own has quite the charm.
A family business for more than 75 years. Actually, I took over the guest house together with my brother. But now it's just me and my little daughter.
So what happened to your brother?
The only interest that scoundrel had was in his bottles. In the end, that good-for-nothing took a half too much of his Bolzenschuss and just made off.
Okay, so he disappeared, I guess? Huh, fascinating.
Being the only guest, I was wondering, how's the season going so far?
Season? We haven't had one in ages.
Your daughter really likes watching TV, huh?
You see, the kid is always in front of the box. She's got her mind set on extraterrestrials and alien worlds. Nonsense, don't you think?
That door over there hasn't been opened in a while, has it?
That's the door to the cellar, where my brother built his little lair. No one has taken any interest in that door since he left. He just took the key with him. Anything else I can do for you?
Can you tell me something about the old cable car?
The cable car leads up to the old mine. It used to belong to the Baron von Sülz. Then this company from overseas forced him to sell it.
Who exactly is this Baron von Sülz?
Baron von Sülz used to run the mine, a philanthropist and patron of the arts. His wife was the flamboyant Baroness von Sülz. You must have heard of her. Anyway, when the company took over the mine, the Baroness dropped him as well and left the Baron behind. A broken man. Now his cat is his only remaining pleasure.
What were they mining for? Do you know?
An old silver mine. So nothing a quantum physicist would be interested in. It's been a few years, back in the days, when there was enough work for everyone. Then this company took over the mine, only to shut it down immediately.
So why did they shut down the mine?
There is talk and rumors all over the town. Allegedly, people started disappearing without a trace. Tourists, poor laborers without families, the odd stranger. Some folks were also talking about toxic residues in the air and the water. But nobody knows anything with certainty. If you ask me, I'm just glad the whole affair has come to an end. All those rumors have kept spa guests away for years, as you can see for yourself.
What about this mysterious company you were talking of?
They are called Millennium Cooperative or something like that. A very dubious corporation. They have connections to the top, if you know what I mean. Way up to the highest circles of power.
What became of the people working the mine?
More and more outsiders came to town. Nobody knows what they were actually doing in the mines. Some went missing, some went crazy. Who can tell? At one point, they even bought the old sanitarium in order to provide housing for their workers. That was before the mine shut down, of course.
Would you wrap up the whole story in detail for me again?
The cable car leads up to the old mine. It used to belong to the Baron von Sülz. Then this company from overseas forced him to sell it.
Okay.
They are called Millennium Cooperative or something like that. A very dubious corporation.
Okay. I guess that's the important
I've heard
parts.
enough. Thank you.
Anything else I can do for you?
Oh, I feel ready for a beer. Maybe we get a coaster with it.
Truda, would you pour me one of your Pilsner beers, please?
Just a second, Professor. Here, a coaster. There you go. Cheers.
Okay, we've got our second coaster. Okay, that worked. Huh, I didn't expect that. The dialogue option to buy a beer is that gone? There it is. Yeah. I didn't see that originally, but now I saw it, so that's cool. So now we have 2 coasters. And you know, Dad said to add 2 coasters. It even selects both. That's cool.
What's this? The table stopped wobbling? Oh, thank you so very much. I was hardly able to focus on anything else but this cursed wobblery.
This cursed wobblery. He's cool.
Good morning.
Excuse me, sir?
Could you tell me something about the cable car in this town?
Don't bring up the old cable car. I don't even want to think about it.
You've got yourself a nice spot here.
The name is Baron Otto Titan von Trüberbrook.
Tannhauser, pleased to meet you.
Please come over. Don't waste the opportunity to put up with the company of a lonely, broken old man.
Okay, so he's the Baron von Sülz. Okay. That makes sense. I kind of like when she said Baron von Sülz and oh, his wife left him and everything like that. I kind of went like, could that maybe be the guy outside? Or was that too long ago? But I didn't say it, so I guess it doesn't count.
Are you from around these parts?
You may very well say so. I put all my life's work into the well-being and prosperity of Trüberbrook. I once was the owner of both, the mines and the cable car. That's all history now.
Do you have any friends or family?
My spouse left me for good, and my beloved Trüberbrook is slowly going down the drain. Only Claus remained loyal to me all these years. Alas, now even he has disappeared.
Who is Claus?
Claus is my tomcat, an angel of an animal. He was the only one to always remain by my side. But now, he's vanished, without a trace. Everything in this world is going down the drain. Mark my words.
Does he mean the fox?
Was Claus abducted?
I don't know. Claus was always faithful and stood by my side. Then he just disappeared, without a trace. You can't rely on anything in this world anymore. Let me tell you. It's just awful.
What kind of a strange place is this?
Well, you should know. This used to be one of the most beautiful spots on the face of the planet. The fair and the fortunate came here for treatment. Travelers and tourists of all fashion. Citizens that weren't occupied in the tourism business found work in the mines. But it's all over now.
Do you still have the key to the old cable car, by any chance?
Please excuse me, but I need to be on my own now. I need some rest to mourn for Claus.
Please excuse me.
Alright, so I guess... Oh! That's his posting that says Klaus is missing. It's a little picture of a fox with the little phone number bits to tear off. Does it mention that?
Small ads, postings, announcements. They're holding a town fair tonight with a band and a raffle. Exciting.
Okay, they don't actually mention that someone is missing Klaus, but obviously that's That's the poster there, I guess. Alright, so Ooh, what's this?
This bucket seems to have been hung here for purely decorative reasons.
Huh.
Wooden fences always...
Alright, it's 7. So that means it's time for the break. Time for a few clips and, get up, stretch, dance, whatever you feel like. And hopefully see you in 5 minutes after the clips.